Welcome to The Explainer. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jordan.
Okay, today we are tackling a topic that honestly might make you shift in your seat just a little bit. We're talking about, well, holes. Specifically, how most vertebrates make do with just one all-purpose hole back there, while we mammals ended up with a much more, let's call it, organized multi-hole setup.
Yeah, and seriously, by the end of this explainer, you're going to be genuinely, profoundly grateful that we evolved past that single hole era. I know I am.
Oh, 100%. I am already so grateful. So let's jump right in. All right, let's start with some basic biology. Fish, amphibians, reptiles, dinosaurs, and birds, they all rock what is known as a cloaca. That is one magnificent multi-purpose chamber where, you guessed it, digestion, urination, and reproduction all exit through a single opening.
Literally, just think about that for a second. The mighty T-Rex, one hole. That majestic bald eagle soaring through the sky, just one hole. It kind of sounds crazy to our mammal brains, but hey, it's been working perfectly for them for over 300 million years.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the grand divergence. You've got the ancestral vertebrate condition, the ultimate 3-in-1 special for feces, urine, and reproduction. And then you contrast that with our highly specialized placental mammal setup, which features 2 to 3 entirely distinct exits.
When you actually think about this functionally, wow, I am just so incredibly glad we don't have to coordinate everything through one single exit anymore.
Seriously, as a woman, I am deeply, deeply appreciative that the reproductive tract isn't sharing the exact same real estate with the digestive tract. Talk about a massive evolutionary upgrade. So what exactly is a cloaca anyway? Basically, it's a single posterior chamber and opening where the digestive, urinary, and reproductive tracts all just converge and exit together. The whole shebang in one place.
It totally sounds like a chaotic plumbing nightmare to us, right? But it's actually an incredibly efficient system for them. It conserves water, which is huge, especially for reptiles and birds that excrete that white uric acid paste instead of liquid urine. And it vastly simplifies the whole body plan. Honestly, it's a masterpiece of natural engineering that has worked flawlessly since vertebrates first crawled on the land.
Now, this brings up a super obvious, maybe slightly awkward question. If everything shares one single exit, how does reproduction actually work? Do they just kind of fumble around in the dark, hoping for the best?
Right, and let's firmly debunk a massive myth right here, right now. It is definitely not just anal sex. The digestive tract and the reproductive tract are entirely distinct channels internally. They only meet at the very, very end in what's called the cloacal vestibule. So copulation is aimed strictly at the reproductive channel, completely avoiding the digestive side of things.
The secret here comes down to incredible mechanical precision. Reptilian mating doesn't involve fumbling at all. It's guided by a highly specific lock-and-key anatomy.
Exactly. The males have these structures called hemipenes, and get this, sometimes they have literal hooks, branches, and ridges on them that turn inside out and fit perfectly into matching pockets inside the female's cloaca. It creates this ultra-secure seal that channels the sperm directly into the internal reproductive ducts, totally bypassing the digestive tract. It's highly targeted, no clumsy searching involved.
But hey, if you don't have all that complex internal plumbing, you can just keep things simple like our avian friends. Fun fact, most birds actually skip the penis entirely.
Yeah, they do what is charmingly called a cloacal kiss. Basically, they just press their cloacal openings together for a split second and the sperm transfers directly across. Boom. It's incredibly quick, highly efficient, and it completely gets the job done without any extra equipment.
But then, along comes the mammal lineage. Our synapsid ancestors, those ancient, sort of mammal-like reptiles, decided it was time for a major remodel. We like to call this the mammalian renovation. Over millions and millions of years, the ancestors to modern mammals began to permanently change this fundamental 3-in-1 plumbing situation. They basically took that ancestral Swiss Army knife and slowly, generation by generation, started evolving it into separate, highly specialized tools. Think of it like renovating a house. You don't just go in with a sledgehammer and knock down load-bearing walls randomly, right? You start with one large ancestral room, the cloaca. Then evolution adds a thin partition, a dividing wall called the urorectal septum.
And over countless generations, that thin little partition deepens and thickens. It gradually separates that one large all-purpose room into distinct specialized rooms. The anus gets moved to the back, and the urogenital opening stays in the front. It's this beautiful, modular, incremental tinkering process. And the best part, it never broke their ability to reproduce while all this construction was happening.
The sheer time scale of this biological renovation is just mind-boggling. We're talking 300 million years ago. Early land-dwelling animals all had a true cloaca.
Right, and then tens of millions of years later, our cynodont ancestors, basically the missing links between reptiles and mammals, start showing evidence of partial septation, that dividing wall is actively building. And today we can see the results of this gradual tinkering across the whole living mammalian spectrum. It definitely didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, meticulously coordinated developmental tweak.
And honestly, the absolute coolest part of all this is that we can actually see this evolutionary timeline alive and breathing today. Monotremes, like the platypus, which are true milk-producing mammals, by the way, they still rock the original old-school cloaca.
Yep, and then you have marsupials, like kangaroos. They have a separate anus, but their urinary and reproductive tracts still share a common urogenital exit. They're like the halfway point. And finally, you get to the placentals, like us humans, and we get the full deluxe package, completely separate openings for everything.
But you want to know what's truly mind-blowing? How our own biology tells this exact same story. Every single placental mammal embryo acts as a mini evolutionary time capsule.
It is wild. Between weeks 4 and 7 of human development, our embryos actually form a temporary cloaca. It's like our bodies briefly pull up those ancient architectural blueprints before that urorectal septum swoops in to divide everything up. We literally replay this massive evolutionary renovation before we are even born.
And while all this separation was happening internally, male anatomy had to specifically adapt to the new floor plan. The ancestral phallus typically just had this open groove to channel sperm, but urine didn't even run through it.
Right, but in mammals, the urethral plate actually folds up and closes into a fully enclosed tube. So for male mammals, the urethra is integrated perfectly into the penis to carry both urine and semen out through the exact same tip. Everything lines up perfectly outside the body without any internal cross-contamination. It's a fantastic, super specific mammalian novelty.
So the crucial question is, why did we bother? I mean, why fix what wasn't broken for the dinosaurs? Well, for our highly active, warm-blooded lifestyle, the benefits of upgrading were massive. Hygiene is a huge, huge one. Separating feces from the reproductive tract drastically reduces infection risks. Think about it. If you're a mammal carrying a developing baby internally in a womb for months on end, keeping waste as far away from the birth canal as possible is an absolute survival necessity. Plus, this separation gave us precise muscular control. We gained these complex perineal muscles, which means we have voluntary control over exactly when and where we use these separate tracts.
Which really brings me to a profound and honestly deeply personal realization. Thank you, evolutionary tinkering. You did good.
I literally cannot stress this enough. Thank you. I am so incredibly happy that our reproductive and digestive tracts no longer share the same real estate. I mean, the single cloaca clearly works wonders for birds and reptiles, but I am thrilled we got the deluxe separation package.
Agreed completely. No more biological multitasking at the worst possible moments. Having 3 distinct holes just hits different for our highly social, complex mammal lifestyles. We really lucked out.
So we leave you with this final, genuinely vital question. Have you appreciated your highly specialized, multi-hole mammalian perineum today?
Seriously, take a second. Reflect on the incredible, hundreds of millions of years long evolutionary journey it took to build your specific anatomy. It is an absolute masterpiece of natural renovation.
And that wraps up this explainer. We really hope you leave here with a newfound gratitude for your highly specialized plumbing. But, it makes you wonder, what parts of our anatomy are we slowly remodeling right now? What's the next upgrade? Keep exploring, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.